Welcome back to STL Live Election Special. I'd like to welcome to my studio at this time Mr. Charles Bryson, who is Executive Director of the Civil Rights Enforcement Agency, CREA. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
So good to see you. I'm doing great. Just have to tell you a little story about CREA. They really helped me in a situation a few years back. And it was a housing situation, and they were there for my defense. It helped me. It was a good organization that really was there for me. You weren't head of it at that time, but the folks that I know you inherited, they are awesome investigators. They did a good job for me, and I really appreciate where they're coming.
Very glad to hear it.
Yes, they did a good job. So anybody really needing help, they need to contact CREA to get help here in the St. Louis area with reference to housing. Tell us a little bit about what CREA is and what your organization does for the city of St. Louis.
Sure. Basically, we perform investigations of fair housing, equal employment, public accommodation. Those are the big three. And what happens is we are federally sponsored and through the state of Missouri. So whatever laws, rules, and regulations apply regarding those issues, we do the investigation. And we make a determination if somebody has been discriminated against as it relates to a wide variety of categories. And if so, then we are able to help mediate or conciliate an agreement.
And your investigators don't play.
They don't.
They go after the banks.
Yes.
They go in and sit down and talk with landlords. They investigate situations to find what's going on, and that's very much appreciated. And people don't understand.
And we also do a lot of employment, especially as you see now with immigrants and refugees. You see employment situations come up, but there's also issues related to what we see now going on with people not being able to stay in their employment situation. Really, because you know, now today you've got people who want to fire you for the littlest thing, and show possibly racism or some sort of discrimination as they do it.
With reference to, for example?
For example, one of the simple ones that we've encountered is if two people have been there for a very long time. One gets promoted, the other doesn't. But one actually has more certification, more education than the other. Why did this person get promoted and this one did not?
So you all take on cases like that as well?
We have to do those investigations. Absolutely.
Okay, I had no idea that you dealt. I thought it was basically housing that the organization dealt with, but it also deals with ageism and discrimination.
Sexism, genderism. We're seeing a lot of issues becoming a little bit to the fore around transgender.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so you're seeing more of those kinds of issues coming to the forefront, and CREA will go out and investigate.
Yes, we'll do those investigations.
Do you work with other arms that deal with like EEOC and some of the other?
Well, we actually are the EEOC representative, basically, like we're the HUD representative. We're actually the EEOC representative in the city of St. Louis. So they will give cases to us. Okay. So if you called in and say to the EEOC and said, can you do this case, they would refer the case to us for action.
How about if we called into the DOJ about something that someone is feeling discriminated against or has an opportunity to get something done about it? You all work with that as well?
Yes, we will.
That is interesting. So you really go in and delve into investigating what's happening with a situation and helping individuals who are being discriminated against, and whether it's housing, whether it's a job, whether it's racial, and now with the transgender situation.
One thing is also around public accommodation. If you notice in a lot of, and you've been in St. Louis a long time, when we start to eat outside in the spring, the high tables and high chairs, those actually are against ADA regulation. And so we sent out a letter to...
I had no idea.
I didn't either until I took the job. So we sent out a letter to about 45 different restaurants that we know always have outdoor seating. And we basically said, this is against ADA regulation. Please give us at least one table and chair setup where a person with a disability, maybe they need a wheelchair or maybe they have a walker, can sit down comfortably.
We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about those restaurants and some of the accommodations that your organization helps people with here in the St. Louis area. Stay with us here at STL Live. We will have Charles Bryson here to talk more about CREA and some of the things the organization has been working on here in the St. Louis area. We'll be right back.